Hello everyone, it's so great to be live with you for day 2, round 2. I hope you're excited, I hope you're looking forward to this, and I hope you are super pumped. Let me know where in the world you're tuning in from. I am bringing all of my best energy for these sessions, and I really felt your energy yesterday as well. I'm so grateful to each and every one of you for showing up. Let me know if you came yesterday. If you came in yesterday, say round 1 and 2. If you're here for your first session, write down first session. So are you here for your second session or your first session? We kicked off yesterday with round 1 when I went through how to get the most out of these sessions. Remember, if you've not seen it, you can go back and watch that session. But right now, let me know where in the world you're tuning in from. I would love to know. Raisa, good to see you. Aditya, good to see you. Orion, good to see you. Kalyani, great to see you. Heather, Christy, Jaslyn from Canada, good to see you. Elena from Italy, brilliant to see you here. Orion, good to see you here as well. Awesome. Who else is here? Stuti from India, thanks for being here. Neha, round 1 and 2, super fun for this. It has been very helpful so far. Amazing. Carolyn from France, another day. I'm so ready. Amazing. So great to have you here. Katerina from Bosnia, thank you for joining. Thank you for joining for these 5 days. Nick Curtis says round 1 and 2. Yesterday was so great. Love this so much and so needed. Nick, thank you so much for coming back. Cheska says, hi Jay, it's 3 a.m. here in the Philippines, but I'm glad I made it again. Round 1 and 2, amazing. Simi, good to see you as well. It's good to see so many Genius members joining. Chira, good to see you. So many good to see of my private Genius group and mentorship group. So great to see all of you joining here as well. Sonam says, hey Jay, just listen to the Negative People podcast, one of your best. Well, thank you so much. Round 1 now, round 2, says Carl from Barcelona. Incredible to see. We've now got over 3,000 people. Let's keep going, everyone. I can't wait for so many more of you to join for round 2. So like I said yesterday, this session is a special session for everyone who joined for the 5 days to create the lives you want, right? 5 rules, 5 days. And like I said yesterday, this is not just about 5 days. This is about the next 5 months and the next 5 years of your life. This isn't just about 5 days. But as I said yesterday, when you give your immersive focus, when you give your immersive energy, what I mean by that is when you dive deep for 5 days in a row, when you show up every single day, round 1, round 2, today, round 3, round 4, round 5, the benefits and the feelings of growth get so strong inside of you that you're able then to carry that momentum forward from 5 days to 5 months to 5 years. I really want you to notice that, recognize that, and reward yourself for that. And so all you have to do is turn up for an hour or just less than an hour every single day. And I'm guiding you through an expert's curriculum. And like I said yesterday, this isn't just some ideas I've had. This isn't just some thoughts I've had. This is what I've studied and learned and developed over the last 13 years of my life. A lot of this has been working with and learning from some incredible thinkers in the spaces of spirituality, business, social media, innovation. And what I've always been focused on is what makes happy and successful people. Now, you may define happiness and success in whatever way. What I'm saying is healthy, wealthy, and wise. Living a soulful, spiritually based life, wanting to make an impact in the world. People who are being able to be abundant in their mindset, and people who are healthy mentally, physically, and spiritually. So what I'm sharing with you is a holistic approach to how you can gain the most out of your life. And like I said yesterday, one of the biggest ways to do this is that everything I share in these sessions is super practical. This is actionable, applicable advice. This is not just some nice words, some nice thoughts. This is stuff you can put bang into action today in your lives. And I want you to do that. So it's great to see so many of you coming in online right now as well. Harina, I'm so glad you're so excited to be here. Brilliant to have you here again. Bearhat says, yes, back again. Bethany, awesome to have you here as well. Mehar says, just completed listening session of the day 1. Glad I didn't miss it. Brilliant. Well done for doing that. Paul Smith says, back in the mind gym. Absolutely, Paul. So like I said yesterday to everyone who joined, right? This is the mind gym. This is the soul gym. It's the focus gym. This is the place. And the mind gym feels tough at the start. Just like when you first walk into a gym, it's hard to look around. But that was round one. Today you're here for round two, and round two is going to be super, super practical. Yes, it was deep. It was a lot of work. We pushed through a lot. We broke through a lot. And like I said, today you're going to feel that momentum flowing through you. Esme, always good to see you from the Genius Group. Thanks for being here. So what I'd love for you to do, quick announcement. So that you never miss a session, go to the event section and make sure you click going for session 3, 4, and 5 so you get a notification when I go live. Yesterday's session was called Making Peace with Your Past. Make sure you go back and watch that if you haven't seen it already. But here we go for round two. If you're ready, say yes in the comments right now. I want to get you all ready and pumped right now. If I was with you in a room, I'd be getting you all to let me know your energy. So keep those likes and loves coming. I love seeing them through. Like I said, it's an interactive session. I'm reading comments. I'm also sharing the thoughts and curriculum. I'm guiding you through it in this session. So stick with me for this time because I'm going to be guiding you through some great exercises and thought processes today as well. Callisti says, already sharing yesterday's insights. Can't wait for new introspective insight. That's amazing. Thanks for so much. Rochelle says, back for second day, multitasking out, prom dress shopping with my daughter while listening. Awesome. Anna says, ready for the soul and mind gym. I'm back and ready. Greetings from Venezuela. Thank you so much for joining. Awesome. Everyone's ready. Arbiter's yet ready as well. Fantastic. So yesterday's session was called Make Peace with Your Past. You don't live there anymore. Today's session is, if you don't master your priorities, you end up living someone else's. Think about that carefully. If you're not busy making your plans, someone will keep you busy making their plans, right? If you're not busy building your plans, someone will make you busy and keep you busy building their plans. Now, there's no harm in working with and for the right people, but we all have to also figure out our priorities. How many of you have ever had that experience in life where you're living someone else's plan? You're living someone else's priorities. You're living someone else's agenda. You're living someone else's focus. It's almost like you have believed that their priority is your priority. And then halfway down the way, you get forward and then you go, why am I here? Why am I doing this right now? Why is this my focus? How many times have you ever experienced that? Say yes in the comments if you've ever experienced that before. Shane says, these steps are definitely helping because it is very easy to be encouraged and then be staggering back to normal. But your approach keeps the motivation going. Shane, thank you so much for saying that and showing up today. Diane says, yes, I'm so ready and grateful. You're taking this time to educate and mentor us. Absolutely, Diane. Your energy is going to help you get more out of this. Right? Because you've made this a priority in your life, because we're talking about priorities today. Round two is all about priorities. When you know how to set your priorities, when you know how to focus on your priorities, when you know how to make your time work for you. How many of you struggle with time management? Not just having enough time, but doing the right thing with the time. Everyone has the same 24 hours in a day. But you see, some people are having an impact at this level, and some of us are not having an impact at all. How many of you have seen that and experienced that in your life? Where you see people around you like, I don't get it. How is that person having an impact and focusing and living at that level? And why is it that my progress is not happening that way? How many of you have ever had that experience? Not in an envious or jealous way, but in a real way where you wonder where that comes from. Say yes right now. Let me know in the comments if you feel that way. So I want to teach you today. I'm going to guide you through my process to set incredible priorities. Not only that you get stuff done, right? Not just to get stuff done, but you actually achieve what you want to achieve. Getting stuff done is not the same as getting what you prioritize done. And that is so much more helpful. So today I'm going to guide you through some really simple interactive exercises, giving you an ability to reflect, to learn more about you. Kadi, great to see you here. Thank you so much for being here. It's so awesome to have you. So Aditi says, oh my God, that is so me. Every time I've dated a guy, somehow I end up placing them first, ignoring everything of what I wanted to do, study and work. So sometimes it's a relationship, Aditi. Sometimes it's a relationship that pulls us away from our priorities. What is it for you? Sometimes it can be our duty, it can be parenting that pulls us away from our priorities. And we feel guilty. When I was on the Today Show in New York a couple of months ago, one of the hosts actually asked me, she said, I get mum guilt when I'm away from my kids. And I was talking about time versus energy. Remember this point really carefully. We think we have to divide up our time when actually what people want is our energy. When someone says, I want to spend time with you, what they're asking for is your energy. And what your energy is your presence. Right? Well, your energy is your presence. Are you present? So when someone says, I want your time, I'm sure what they're not asking for, right? What they're not asking for is you sitting next to them on your phone while you both watch TV. Right? No one is asking for that. No one is asking you to sit next to them, be on your TV, be on your phone. Sorry, I just choked a bit. When people are asking you, what people are asking you for is your energy and your presence. When people are asking you to be present mentally, that's what they're looking for. So I was saying that it's so important to recognize that we have to give our energy to people, right? Not just our time, yet we try and divide our time. It's very important that we don't get lost in this world. It's so easy for us to fall into that trap. Give me 1 second. So this is a really, really important point that I want you to remember. Awesome. Who else is agreeing? Sunday says, wow, this is so true. I always focus on executing plans of others and give my heart and soul to work it out and eventually end up not even getting appreciated. Right. Brooke, I've been working over 50 hours a week for someone else's vision under the premise that it was for my benefit, my career growth. But now I'm here going, how did I get here? Fine. So we've all had this experience. So I'm going to teach you today how to figure out your priorities and start investing more time into them. Now, I'll give you a time when I had a full-time job. I used to work 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. I don't believe there's a 9 to 5 anymore. It was a 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. and I had to figure out to do the same thing. So I was in the same position as all of you. I've been there in a place where I was working my socks off to build something that I didn't even care about, that wasn't even meaningful. But I want to make sure that the time you do have is able to make a difference. So this is how I want you to think about this. What I want you to do, I want to tell you a story. This was said by the former CEO of Coca-Cola. His name's Brian Dyson. And he was asked to give a talk to his employees. And in this talk, he said, life is like juggling 5 balls. How many of you have seen jugglers before, right? He said, life is like juggling 5 balls. And he said, in this life, the 5 balls are family, friends, health, career, and personal and spiritual. These are the 5 balls that we all juggle in life. Family, friends, health, job, personal and spiritual. And he said, this is Brian Dyson, the CEO of Coca-Cola. He said that out of these 5 balls, 4 of these are glass balls and 1 of them is a rubber ball. What he meant by that is 4 of them, when you drop them, because they're glass balls, they may crack, they may get a blemish, they may get a scratch. But 1 of the balls is a rubber ball. Every time you drop it, it'll bounce back up. He said work is the rubber ball. Family, friends, health, and personal and spiritual are like glass balls. When we drop something in our family, it leaves a long-term reaction. When we drop something in our health, it comes back to us. But our career will always bounce back. But these are the 5 balls in our life. So what I'd like you to do, like I said yesterday, have your notebooks ready, get ready to stay focused. So 5, write down these. And what I want you to do is I want you to rate where you personally are out of 10, in your opinion, in each of those areas. So for example, your relationship with your family, your relationship with your friends, your relationship with health, your relationship with job and career, your relationship personal and spiritual. Where do you think you personally are out of 10? So if you say, yeah, my relationship with my family is around 8. My relationship with my friends, I've got a good community of friends, 7. My health is at a 4. My career is at a 7. My personal and spiritual is at a 6. Whatever it is, I want you to rate yourself out of 10 for each of these. Then what I want you to do is where you would like to be out of 10 in the next 6 months. So I'll give you a personal example. So last year, because I was working so hard, I was pushing so hard, I was thinking my health was like at a 4. And I was thinking, I want to improve my health because I want to give more, I want to serve more. So I said that I'm currently at a 4 out of 10 in my health, but I want to be at an 8 out of 10 in my health, a 7 out of 10 in my, a realistic, not just 10, of course we'd love to be 10, but I want you to plot these 2 numbers. So in the first column, write down family, friends, health, career, personal and spiritual. Next to it, write down where you currently are in life out of 10, and then write down where you want to be in life out of 10, right? That's what I want you to do. Do that right now. Minty says, oh my God, that's so true about these 5 balls in life. Yep, we're all juggling them away. Savni says, family is 9, amazing friends 7, health 4, career 8, spiritual 9. Brilliant. Now plot where you want to be in those areas. So the first line is where you currently are. The second line is where you want to be. And don't just put the same number of where you want to be for all of them. Make realistic gains based on where you think you can be. Of course, we'd love to be 10 in all of them. Don't do this quickly. Take time to focus. Where do I really want to get my health to in the next 6 months? What's realistic for me to get to in the next 6 months? Which one am I willing to give focus to, right? Which one am I willing to give focus to? Thank you for being honest, guys. This is great. So, the only way and for Genius members, any of you that are my Genius members in this, you may have heard me say this before. For those of you who haven't, the majority of you in the group right now, this is really super, super important, right? This is super, super, super important. You only make change. Actually, let me wait. Let's wait for that. Plot the 2. So now what I want you to do is take the number between the 2 and put it at the end. So for example, if you said that your family currently is at a 5 and you wanted to be at an 8 in 6 months, write down the number 3 because the difference between 5 and 8 is 3. Let's say your friends currently is 7 and you want to be at 9, write down 2. If your career currently is at 6 and you want to be at 8, write down 2. So write down the difference between the 2 numbers in a third category, please. Ogana says, Jay, this is gold. If we really keep coming back each month to check with this and see how much better we want to be, it will be transformative. Absolutely, Ogana. You're on point. You totally get this. Claire says, I'm going to focus on my health, starting a weight loss program. Well, stick with me, Claire. Alana's saying, I'm realizing how great my family situation is. That's beautiful. So now when you write down the difference in the third column, right? When you write down the difference in the third column, circle the number that's the biggest. Which one is the biggest? That's going to show you. What it's going to show you, that third column, is where you think you want to have the biggest growth. And what I want you to do is for the next 6 months, even though you're going to do bits of all of them, I want you to choose which one you deeply want to prioritize. I'll tell you why. Changes only happen in our life when we make something a big priority and take small steps towards them. You are never going to get good at everything all at the same time. How many times have you had this challenge where in your life you try and solve everything at the same time? How many times have you ever had that where you're like, I'm going to sort out my diet and I'm going to start exercising and I'm going to get a promotion and I'm going to spend more time with my family and I'm going to socialize more with my friends, and ends up what's happening? What ends up happening in our lives? We end up succeeding at nothing. When you try and do everything, you end up with nothing. And therefore, the only way to have growth in your life, right? The only way to have positive growth in your life is, very importantly, by small steps, but a big priority. And what we all usually do is we try and make big steps in every area of our life, but they're all a small priority. Rikesh is saying, so the difference gap should be measured monthly to check progress. Absolutely, Rikesh, right? Helen says, this is great. I can now see how great my family is, how on track I am in my career, but how much I've neglected my friends and my own spiritual well-being. Helen, you're doing exactly the right thing. This is brilliant. When you do this exercise properly, you also get gratitude and perspective. This is like having a bird's eye view of our lives. I'll give you a very important example. If you're going through a maze, how many of you have ever been in a maze before, right? You get lost, you're going round and round and round. And when you're in a maze, you're in the thick of it. You don't notice anything. You don't have perspective. But then imagine you had a bird's eye view. Imagine you had a helicopter on top and you could look down onto the maze and you get perspective and you go, oh, that's what's going on. This is what this exercise does. It's letting you step back out of your life and get a bird's eye view. Amazing. This is fantastic. Solvi says, this really hit me because these numbers in my current life is lower than I thought. I'm so ready to turn this around. Thank you for opening up my mind and eyes. Solvi, awareness is step one. You're doing amazing. This is brilliant. Awesome. Diane says, awesome way to see and keep focused on our goals and to prioritize and track our progress. Love this. Makes total sense and makes me hopeful. That's brilliant. Paul Smith says, 100% true. Try to improve every area at once in the past and never moved any of them. Paul, I relate. Like, I've been there too, my friend. Right? I've been there too. And so many of us do that, right? So many of us. So recognize now, if in the next 6 months, you can do all of them a little bit, but you're only going to see major growth in one area because you're going to make it a big priority and take a small step towards it. And I want you to choose for you. You don't have to tell me, but I want you to choose for yourself which one that's going to be. Laurie says, wow, that's really insightful and so true. You have to have both big priorities and small steps. Can't just have one part without the other. Absolutely. And you can't have it the other way around. What we do is big steps and small priorities. Alana says, I love how everything comes back to gratitude. My numbers are higher than I thought in so much. Looking at the individual pieces helps to not get overwhelmed. Absolutely. Dana says, this is exactly what I needed right now. Something attracted me to what's this right now. Dana, that's awesome. I'm so glad you're here. This is brilliant. Okay, great. Esther says, thank you for the big eye-opening. I definitely need to improve a little by little. Fantastic. Okay, so now that we've got that area, right? Now that we've got that area in our lives that you want to improve, what we need to do is build a daily priority around it. Nothing improves until we do it daily. Even if you do it for 5 minutes a day or 10 minutes a day, a daily activity is what improves anything. If you want to get better at meditating, you have to do it daily. If you want to get healthier, you have to do it daily. Everything happens day by day by day. But you're not going to do everything. So let's say health. I'm just taking health as an example. Let's say health was your focus. You're not going to be able to get the best diet and the best workout routine in the same week. You have to do small steps, big priority. So the small step for week 1 would be to just cut something out of your diet. Or the small step for week 1 would be making sure you go to the gym 3 times a week. It's a small step, but it's a big priority. You're not trying to change everything at the same time. When you change everything at the same time, nothing changes at all. Right? When you try and change everything at the same time, nothing changes at all. Please do not try and change everything at the same time. This is why we fail, and then we feel sad and depressed and upset, but it doesn't work like that, right? It doesn't work like that. So I'm going to share with you, and some of you may have used this before. It's super old, but it's really useful, and I highly recommend more people should do this because I don't think we do it. How many of you have to-do lists? Say yes right now if you have a to-do list, right? Say yes right now if you have a to-do list. One of the things I want to point out about your to-do list is you may have a to-do list, but do you use the quadrant to decide whether what is important and urgent? I'll tell you what I mean. There are 4 things that your to-do list should be split into. There are 4 areas your to-do list should be put into, and you can draw this as a quadrant, 4 boxes. Draw 4 boxes right now on your piece of paper, and in the top left-hand corner box, write urgent and important, right? In the top left-hand box, write urgent and important. In the top right-hand box, write not urgent and important. In the bottom left-hand box, do that for me right now. I hope you're doing that. Priscilla says, yes, Jay, I'm so glad I'm here with you right now. Day by day, I'm making my plan on becoming a life coach, but can't do that without your help. Awesome. From Pembroke, Ontario. Good to see you here. So we all have to-do lists, but we don't break them down into focus areas, right? So we all have a to-do list, but the problem is sometimes our to-do list runs us and we don't run our to-do list. How many of you have ever had that issue? So what I want you to do is I want you to break your to-do list down into 4 areas. The top left is urgent and important. The top right is not urgent and important. The bottom left is urgent and not important. And the bottom right is not urgent and not important. These are the 4 areas in which your life lives. The challenge is we end up spending our lives in things that are not urgent and not important, right? That's where we end up spending our lives. Or we spend our lives in urgent and not important. So we end up doing a lot of not important things. And when we do a lot of not important things, we don't get energy. We don't get excitement. We don't be meaningful. Emily says, I used to use this quadrant, but stop. So powerful. Thank you for bringing it back into focus. See, this is the thing. Sometimes we even know the answer, but we stop using it. So I want you to really thinking about this. T says, you were freaking amazing, Jay. Thank you, T. I appreciate that. And we want to do everything at once, but realize that the only place you're going to feel impact is when you do the urgent and important and the not urgent and important. When we do things that are important, we feel more importance. When we do important things, we feel more significance. When we do important things, we feel more meaningful in our lives. We may get a bit of fun out of doing random stuff everywhere, but we get more meaning and conviction in our lives when we do things. So I want you to use this quadrant. So from now on, when you have your to-do list, and I always want you to do this the night before. Never leave this to the morning. Never decide what you want to achieve in the day in the morning. When you set an alarm, you set it the night before so that you wake up on time on the day. With your to-do list, set it the night before so you wake up aware, fresh, and ready to live. Your to-do list can bog you down and ruin your energy if that's how you start to choose the day, right? Rumor says, oh my God, just realized how much information I have but don't use. Know of the 4 quadrant and use it regularly at work but never thought in our personal lives. None of us do that. Pamela, thank you so much. That means so much to me. Maria, thank you so much as well. Carmelina, thank you so much. Okay, Michelle says, I'll start using this technique. Brilliant. Louise says, I've always done to-do lists, but not for this quadrant. Brilliant, I'm so happy. This is fantastic. Fantastic. I'm so glad that you guys are getting so much out of this. I'm loving all of this. This is brilliant. Brilliant. Okay, so that's how I want you to do your to-do lists, because that's what helps you decide the urgent and important naturally is what needs to be done right now. And we start feeling more meaningful. We get momentum. We get traction. Then it's easy to do the not important and not urgent stuff, right? Then it's easy to get that done. And then we start focusing on what really matters. And even if you achieve one thing from every section of the quadrant every day, that's beautiful. Right? Rather than achieving a lot of things that are not urgent and not important, what does that feel like? Oh, I didn't achieve anything today. How many times have you ever had that feeling? Say yes in the comments if you've had this feeling. How many times have you ever had that feeling where you've achieved so much in a day, but it was all insignificant? You've done so many things, but none of them impacted anything in your life. And you feel, I haven't achieved anything. But you're like, wait a minute, I did so many things today. Where did the time go? But you did things that were not urgent and not important. So this will help you focus your energy in the right area. This is how you assess value. What really has impact in your life. When you work towards value, right? You don't just do stuff, but you do stuff that has value. You feel more valuable. When you do things that have value, that offer value, you feel more valuable. You feel more value inside yourself, right? Does that make sense? This is so important. I'm loving it. I'm so glad you guys are with me. Guys, we're nearly halfway through. Well, we're halfway through the session. I've got so much more to share with you. Stay here. I hope you're enjoying this coaching. This is the power of coaching. How many of you right now are having that moment where you're just like, wow, this makes sense. This is not as hard as I thought it was. This is connecting with me. This is going to change my life. How many of you are having that feeling and that experience right now? If you're having that feeling right now, right? If you're having that feeling right now, this is the power of coaching. This is the power of mentorship. This is the power of guidance. We all lack this. When we finish school, we lack this education and we all need it, right? Heather, good question. Heather says, not sure what would be urgent and not important. I'll give you an example. It might be, let me think of something. So it might be urgent, like I need to go, let me think, I'll give you a good example. Something that's urgent but not important. I may need to make a quick phone call to book something, and the booking may not be that important, but it's urgent because it needs to be done today. That's something that I know I can solve in a minute. It's something I know I can solve straight away so I can get it out of the way, right? But I don't want to make that my top priority. I don't want to make that the number one thing I'm achieving today because otherwise I won't feel it. Awesome. Lisa says, I am obsessed with lists and this is just awesome. This is going to make so much difference. Brilliant. I'm so happy. Awesome. Brilliant. I'm so glad. Minty, awesome. Stephanie, brilliant to see your comment. Tracy, thank you so much. Tracy says, I feel so much clearer and excited for a new day tomorrow. Thank you. Awesome. I've got so much more to share with you. So stay with me, everyone. These sessions are action-packed right now. So the third thing I'm going to help you do now is I want to help you realize when is your high energy and productive time. This is something that we were never taught at school, right? Everyone went to school from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. or whatever it was. Everyone went to school at the same time and you were expected to be alert all the time. Now, the truth is that all of us are alert and more impactful at different times. Have you ever noticed that? Some of your friends are just morning people. Some of you get more done in the evening. Some of you get more done in the afternoon. We all have unique ways of working, but yet we're all told these lies. Now, listen to this carefully. I'm just going to take a couple of thoughts here as well. Joyce goes, Jay, how to deal with the situation when someone brings us urgent thing that knocks our to-do list down? So you still have to place it. You still have to place it and you don't have to trade your most important and most urgent thing, right? Do not trade that thing. Trade something else. This is great. Okay, so this you have to pay attention for. Pay attention to this very closely. What I'm going to help you do is I'm going to help you find out the time that you're most impactful, that you have the most energy. So listen very carefully here, right? Listen very carefully here. So the first thing I want you to ask yourself in column 1 is ask yourself, what time do you usually go to sleep? Write down the time that you usually go to sleep. Is it 9 a.m., is it 9 p.m., 10 p.m.? What is it, right? Write it down. Is it 9 p.m., 10 p.m., 11 p.m.? What time do you go to sleep? And then I want you to write down next to it, what time do you wake up? So write down, what time do you usually go to sleep? And what time do you wake up? Write that down. And now write down the midpoint between those two. So I'll give you an example. If I go to sleep at 10 p.m. and wake up at 6 a.m., the midpoint is 2 a.m. Write down 2 a.m. if that's your midpoint. What is the midpoint of your sleep? So if you sleep at 9 p.m. and you wake up at 3 a.m., your midpoint is midnight, right? So I want you to choose. What is your midpoint? Don't tell me what time you're sleeping. What is your midpoint between what time you go to sleep and what time you wake up? I want you to write down the midpoint of the time you go to sleep and the time you wake up. What is that middle point? Okay, so once you have that midpoint, listen to this very, very, very carefully. Right? Listen to this very, very carefully. If your midpoint is between 12 a.m. to 3 a.m., you are what is known as a lark. Write down the word lark, L-A-R-K. If your midpoint is between 12 a.m. and 3 a.m., write down lark. Okay? Now, if your midpoint is between 3 a.m. and 6 a.m., write down third birds. Third birds. And if your midpoint is from 6 a.m. to 9 a.m., write down owls. So Your midpoint between when you go to sleep and when you wake up is either between 12 a.m. to 3 a.m. and therefore you're a lark, or it's between 3 a.m. and 6 a.m. and you're a third bird, or it's between 6 a.m. and 9 a.m. and therefore you're an owl. Which one are you? Now, what I'm going to tell you when you know, so write down now, are you a third bird, are you a lark, or are you an owl? Write it down in the comments so that I know as well which ones you are. So if your midpoint, Tabby, is 4 a.m., that means you're a third bird, right? If your midpoint is between 12 a.m. to 3 a.m., you're a lark. If your midpoint is 3 a.m. to 6 a.m., you're a third bird. If your midpoint is 6 a.m. to 9 a.m., you're owls, right? And I want you to write that down. I want to know your midpoint, right? I want to know your midpoint. Now, I'm going to tell you, based on your midpoint, when it's best for you to do different things. So stay super alert for this. When it comes to analytical tasks, research, study, pattern analysis, any form of analytical task, larks are best early morning. If you're a lark, you will do an analytical task best early morning. Now, if you're a third bird, your analytical tasks is best mid-morning. And if you're an owl, the best time to do analytical tasks is late afternoon or evening. Notice how we're all different. We all excel at different times in the day. So we should all want to sleep early and wake up early, but we may be more alert at different times. So again, for analytical tasks, if you're a lark, early mornings. If you're a third bird, mid-mornings. And if you're an owl, late afternoon and evening. Okay? Great. Lisa says, I go to sleep at 10 p.m. and wake up at 7 a.m. So your midpoint is, I'm just working it out for you, it's 2:30 roughly. 2:30 is your midpoint. So then you are a lark. Okay? Now, creativity. Remember, your midpoint is the middle of when you sleep and when you wake up. Whatever is the middle of you when you sleep and when you wake up. Now, creativity. Larks, late afternoon and early evening. If you want to be creative, late afternoon and early evening. Third bird, when you want to be creative, late afternoon and early evening. And owl, morning. That's your creative time, right? That's your creative time. Now, making an impression. If you want to make an impression, larks, you make the best impressions in the morning. Third birds, you make the best impression in the morning. And owl, you make the best impression in the morning. We only make good impressions in the morning. That's all of us, right? And finally, making a decision. When you want to make a decision, lark, early morning. Third bird, early to mid-morning. Owl, late afternoon and evening. All right, this is very important because what we try and do is we try and be alert all day. How many times have you ever in your life tried to be alert all of the time? Tried to be incredibly powerful all of the time? How many of you have ever tried that? It's training. It's tiring. It's so difficult to do that, right? It's so difficult to do that, but this helps you. So I know for me personally, I'm really powerful and productive 9 a.m. to about 1 p.m. Then I have lunch and I can still be powerful from like 3 to 5. But I know after 5 p.m. I'm not. So what I do is I do all my creative work in the morning and I do all my networking in the evening. I do all my powerful, deep work, personal meditation in the morning. And then the rest of the day, I can break it up. Does that make sense? Yeah? Awesome. Exactly, Jaslil. It's important. It's impossible to be on all the time, but we expect it of ourselves. Tammy says, this is awesome. So interesting. Good. I'm glad you guys are getting so much out of this. This is awesome. See, this is what coaching is about, everyone. So like, if you're enjoying this process right now, if you're learning right now, if you're here and you're going, wow, I'm getting so much out of this. This is so practical. This is what coaching is about. And all of us have never had coaching in our life, so we don't realize its value, but we need coaching. We need this because I need it. We all need it to be impactful, to be our best selves. Awesome. This is great. Ingrid says, this is right. This is great stuff. Thanks. This is helping plan my routine. Brilliant. Third bird's creative time, Anjali, is morning. That was the one. Oh, sorry. Third birds is late afternoon and early evening. Awesome. Olivier, you can change your sleep. Yeah, if you want to change your sleep habits, that's different. This is based on your ideal sleep habits. Okay. Now I want to share with you, Now I want to share with you some really important points, right? I want to share some really important points. Diane says, I love this. I make my own schedule, so this is very helpful. Brilliant. It's fantastic. You guys are learning so much. You guys are brilliant. This is an amazing class, amazing session. This is the school and university that all of us missed out on, right? This is the university no one wants to graduate from. This is the school no one wants to drop out from. This is the school you want to learn from. This is amazing. Thank you so much for being here. I'm so grateful to each and every one of you for being here. Thank you so much. It means so much to me. So listen to this really, really carefully, right? Listen to this really, really carefully. One of the biggest important points to help you with all of this, these are some key takeaways from today's session. Don't start your day with a phone. Get a real alarm clock. Order a Timex alarm clock from Amazon. Don't start your day with your phone. That throws you off. It will completely throw you off. Savi, so good to see you. Good to have Genius Communities right here. This is our biggest mistake. We start our days with our phone. When I really wanted to get out of that habit, you know what I used to do? I used to lock my phone in my car outside the house so that I didn't wake up to it. And you can wake up to an alarm. That's all you need in the morning. Do not start your day with your phone. It can throw you off. How many of us waste our first half an hour in bed with our phones? How many of us start our days on Twitter, on Instagram, or emails, or responding to every message we've gained? That drains our brain's energy. It gives us something called decision fatigue. When you wake up in the morning and you have to decide whether to respond to a message, whether you have to decide to respond to something, it gets tiring. Don't waste your brain's powerful energy when you wake up. Don't waste it on being on your phone. Please, please, please. This will save you so much hassle in the future. Ridiculous amounts of hassle in the future. You're going to save yourself so much. Valeria, thank you for being here. The second thing is, don't start your day using your energy to respond to emails or messages. Use the start of your day for you to put out energy. So what we do with the start of our days is we waste all the start of our days responding to other people's requests of us, not responding to our own requests inside, not focusing on what we want. So we spend most of our creative energy in the beginning of the day or wherever we are on doing other people's priorities. So don't start your day with emails. Please do not do that. And especially don't start it with responding to emails. So important. So important. And make sure on your to-do list, you only have 3 top priorities each day, no more. Once you write down your long to-do list, highlight the 3 things you must accomplish in order to feel productive that day. Right? What's going to make you feel most on top? Because guess what? When you feel on top, you get more done. Even if you got loads done in a day, if that didn't make you feel on top, you won't achieve as much. Be really, really closely focused on achieving what makes you feel you've achieved, not just getting stuff done. So many of us are like, I got 10 things done today, but I don't feel I achieved anything. Yeah, I could do one thing and I feel like I achieved so much. This is the way to work and the way to live. The second thing, estimate the time it takes to complete each task. Be really careful of how much time something's going to take. Don't set tasks and then be like, oh yeah, I'll get it done. Be really aware. How much time is this going to take? When you're aware about how much time it's going to take, you set better goals. You set better focuses, right? Be really aware about how much time something's going to take. The other thing I wanted to share with you, these are just some simple tips, some last tips to share with you for this session. We all create to-do lists. You have to start creating a to-don't list, right? You have to create a to-don't list. The problem with to-do lists, things just get in the way. Here's the fix. Alongside your to-do list, create a to-don't list. These are things you need to do in order to accomplish your task. Don't open email before 10 a.m. Don't look at your phone first thing in the morning. Don't eat a heavy lunch. Don't answer phone calls while focusing. These to-don't lists helps you with your to-do list because it creates a mental point where you've actually committed that, wait, when I'm doing this activity, I'm not going to look at my phone. When I'm doing this activity, I'm not going to open up an email. When I'm going to eat lunch, I'm making sure it's not heavy so that I can focus, right? It's really important that you make a to-don't list with your to-do list. Let me see your comments coming in, guys. It's great to have you here. Awesome. It's great to have so many of you here right now. This is brilliant. So glad you guys are getting so much out of this. Brilliant. Make sure you schedule each action item on your calendar. Do not let things stay in your head. Have a calendar on your phone. We all have calendars. A to-do list is only effective as the action you put behind it. And the best way to get things done is to schedule them on your calendar. I'm not sure why all of you can't comment all of a sudden. For some reason, the commenting function has stopped. But don't worry, I'm still going. I'm still teaching. So don't worry if you can't comment. I'm sure it'll come back at some point. But it's weird. I know that it's kind of gone away. And I'm not sure why it's done that. So I'm just checking why that is. It's not showing new comments, but that's fine. Just keep staying here. We're here for the session, so don't worry about that at all. Schedule each action item on your calendar. A to-do list is only as effective as the action you put behind it. And the best way to get things done is to schedule them on your calendar. When you know something needs to be done, set aside time to do it. Do not just say, I'll get it done, right? Do not just say, I'll get it done. Another really powerful tip. Write down your goals before meetings and phone calls. Before you walk into a work meeting, before you walk into a personal meeting, what is your goal for being there? What is your intention for being there? Make sure you're aware of that. Make sure you know that. Now, listen very carefully. The comments are back. It's great to have you back here, everyone. I can see your comments flying through again. Thank you for being persistent and there. Samir says, wow, this session is really powerful. Can't wait for the next 3 days. Well, we're still going. Don't worry. We're not going anywhere. Stay here. Stay here right now. This is brilliant. I'm so glad you guys are getting so much about this. Eric says, absolutely revelatory. To-don't lists are so backwards thinking to what we are taught, but absolutely revolutionary. Just knowing about it for 5 minutes. Amazing. Good. Now, review your list at the start and end of each day, but you should make your list the night before. Your priorities have to be set the night before. You set an alarm the night before. You set your priorities the night before. Very, very important. One of my other favorite things. Focus on one thing at a time. Guess what? Only 2% of the world's population can actually multitask. When all of us hear that, we think we're in that 2%. The truth is most of us are not in that 2%, right? Multitasking is not real. What is real is single tasking, doing one thing at a time. When you focus on one thing at a time, you get so much done. You will achieve so much. That's the focus that we have to have. Single tasking. Right? Single tasking, getting one thing done at a time. Do not try and achieve more than that. It's just not powerful. It's not going to work. Yeah? Really, really important. And some more takeaway tips that I want to share with you, just from some people that are inspiring, etc. It's really important to set aside some necessary me time. YouTube CEO Susan makes it a rule not to check emails between 6 p.m. and 9 p.m. As the mother of 5 children, she also prioritizes getting home in time for dinner with her family. And this is the important point, right? She's setting a period of time to focus on herself and focus on what she loves for. So me time, we all need me time. How many of us in our calendar, in our schedule, in our to-do list have me time? We need it. Guess what? You take out 10 minutes for yourself, you'll be a better mom, a better dad, a better sister, a better brother, a better employee. You'll be a better everything, right? You'll be better everything. Thank you, Robin. I really appreciate that. Okay. And there are also lots of apps that can help you. If you're someone who likes apps, I'll walk you through a couple right now. There's an app that I really like called Gamifying Your Tasks. It's called Habitica, and it gamifies your motivation. Input your habits, goals, and to-do lists, and create an avatar to represent yourself. As you make progress on your tasks and habits, your avatar will get access to features such as quests, pets, and armor. It's like games, right? It's pretty fun. I don't use it personally. I've heard a lot about it. Productivity challenge timer. This app is not for the faint of heart. Input your goal or current projects, such as finished GED thesis. Input how much work you put into it on any given day, and the app will rank you and give you stats. This is for people who like apps. I don't personally use apps to manage me. I prefer lists and quadrants and actually getting really deep into stuff. But if you need apps, check them out as well. There's lots out there. So today's session has been super, super powerful, right? And this is just day 2. We have 3 more days left. What I want all of you to do is share what you're learning on Twitter, on Instagram, on Facebook. I'm trying to find as many of you the ones that you're learning, tag me in them as well. And tag me in them at Jay Shetty on Instagram, at Jay Shetty IW on Twitter. Let me know what you're learning, what you're growing from. And listen to this carefully. Would you like me to send you a reminder 1 hour before my live next time and send a replay after each live? How many of you would like that? If you want that, all you need to do is go find my post from yesterday in the group and click the link. There's a link in a post from yesterday. And if you do that, simple as that, you will get a reminder for the next few sessions as well. There are 3 more. How many of you are getting the benefit of coaching now? How many of you are understanding that having someone who's coaching you, guiding through is massively powerful? And how many of you are having breakthroughs right now? And remember, when you put this into practice, it won't go right first time, but guess what? You now have it in your toolkit. You are going to make progress. It is going to be absolutely incredible, right? You're on the pathway, everyone. You're totally on the pathway. You're making it happen, right? You're doing it. You're making it happen. Review these notes, review this session, watch it again, watch it multiple times. Recommend everyone you know to come in and watch this session. Do not miss out on this opportunity. You can change your life right now. These 5 days will change the next 5 months, the next 5 years of your life if you want them to. Thank you for making this commitment. Thank you for showing up. Thank you for being here. Stephanie says, thank you. I've learned so much and can't wait to implement now. You're amazing and full of wisdom. Stephanie, that means so much to me. I'm so glad I'm getting to build a personal relationship with so many of you. And if you joined each day, I'm sure I'm going to know your names and small faces by the end of it. Thessa says, thank you so much, Jay. I use all this knowledge you gave me when I start the next period of my life. This is amazing. Thank you. Kesha, that's awesome. Priscilla says, loving this session, learning so much, especially achieving the one thing that makes you feel like you have actually achieved. Thanks. Debbie says, yes, amazing. Thanks so much for giving this. It's awesome. Amanda says, I had a huge breakthrough last night, sent a message to someone I needed to forgive and woke up in peace. Wow, that's beautiful. That is so nice. Naomi says, you're definitely shaping my mind and shifting my perceptions. Thank you, Naomi. Hasika says, today's session is so great, but I will try to work hard towards practicing it daily. Awesome. Karishma says, loving the tips given, all things I feel like I partially knew, but hearing them again and go to implement. See, this is the thing about coaching. We know stuff. I know you all know the answer. You're smart people, but we all forget stuff when we don't know how to apply it. Danielle says, today's session is relatable and brings me comfort that I'm not the only one like this. A lot of people deal with your points you're making. I guess I'm not weird. You're not weird. We're all in the same boat. Poonam, thank you, Jay, for all the empowering wisdom. I'm having a breakthrough right now. Can't wait to start implementing the quadrant to-do list from to-do. Amazing. Laura, thank you, Jay. Find it so inspiring how you're living your life with such strong purpose. Thank you so much. Thank you, Melanie. Thank you so much, Jay. This was exactly what I needed at this time. My 14-year-old daughter is watching with me. This is so important. Amazing. Thank you, Melanie, for doing that. That's brilliant. Katerina says, it's really great to have someone to coach you because you're telling us things we didn't really think about. When you tell it, wow, like what? That's awesome. I love it. Drishti says, this is the first time I've taken a coaching session. Faraz, thank you so much. Dun, thank you so much. Andrea, thank you for bringing to the forefront what should be common sense. It is common, but it is sense, but it's not very common these days. Becky says, this is so empowering. I feel I've gained tools I can work with to improve my life. Awesome. This is great. Sabine, please reach out to us via email. We will help sort that out. This is awesome. Fantastic, everyone. Take your priorities, take your focuses, make this happen. I will see you tomorrow for round 3. Turn up, be there, share what you're learning. See you there. And make sure you go and say you're coming and going in the event section to 3, 4, and 5. And that way you'll get a notification. Find yesterday's post, say that you click on the link and you'll get a notification too. See you tomorrow for round 3. Thank you, everyone.